She has always been the kind of person that others admired from a distance. You know, that demeanor that commands respect without a single word being said. The direct gaze, the firm speech, the ability to make tough decisions without hesitation. For years, she built this image with great effort. It wasn't a facade, it was survival. It was the way she found to not depend on anyone, to avoid emotional traps, to not let her heart get in the way of the path her mind had paved. But then, you showed up. And she wasn't prepared for that. Because no one teaches us how to deal with love when it's genuine. She, who used to take pride in her independence, started to notice small signs, almost imperceptible at first, that something was changing. The first symptom came in a silly absence, a delay in replies, a silence that stretched longer than usual. It was enough to ignite an unease in her chest that she couldn't quite name. Was it jealousy, anxiety, insecurity? She didn't even want to admit it. But fear was already starting to seep in through the cracks, and the more time went on, the more she felt that the armor she had built with such care was beginning to unravel. Not out of weakness, but out of love. A love that doesn't shout, doesn't demand, but silently cries out every day not to lose what matters most. She keeps trying to maintain control, pretends not to care when you pull away, smiles even when her inner voice is quivering. She tries to keep her composure, her pride, the strategic coldness that has protected her from pain so many times before. But inside, she is quietly crumbling. And it's not drama, it's not neediness, it's just fear. A fear that feels as absurd as it is inevitable. Because the mere idea of seeing you leave, whether by choice or by the circumstances of life, paralyzes, hurts, distorts everything. It happens to those who truly love. And what's even more curious, she didn't expect you to have this power. Deep down, she believed she had lived enough to know the limits of her own heart, that she knew how far she could go without losing herself. But with you, all her theories failed. She no longer knows how to hide how much she depends on your presence, how incomplete her day feels when you are far away, how she finds herself staring at her phone, waiting for any sign from you. Even if she says otherwise, she lies well, but her body, her gaze, her heavier breathing when the topic is you, leave no doubts. And as much as this scares her, there's something inside her that also feels calm when you're nearby. It's as if, amid all the internal chaos, you are the only point of peace, the only anchor preventing everything from crumbling down. She would never say this out loud. Maybe out of pride, maybe out of fear of scaring you. Or maybe because she is still trying to understand how someone so strong can feel so vulnerable right now. But it's the truth. You have become her greatest vulnerability. And the most beautiful, and at the same time cruel part, is that this vulnerability doesn't come from doubt, it comes from intensity. She's not afraid because she loves you little. She's afraid because she loves you so much that she can't imagine another scenario where she is happy without you. She tries to distract herself, occupy her mind, move on with her life. But everything she does now has an undertone of you. Everything is permeated by your presence, by the memories, by the silent promises made in exchanged glances. And sometimes in the middle of the night she wakes up scared, not from some ordinary nightmare, but from the real nightmare of imagining you leaving. That thought consumes her. You might not even realize it, but she watches you more than she shows. She pays attention to your moods, your absences, your silences. Every little gesture of yours, no matter how small, is interpreted 1,000 times in her mind. She tries to reason it out. She tells herself it's just a phase, that this fear will pass, that it's possible to love and still be in control. But the truth is, it's not. Because true love cannot be controlled. True love complicates things. And she is complicated because of you. And do you know what she fears the most? That you won't understand the depth of this, that you'll think it's an overreaction, that you'll interpret it as weakness, that you'll pull away just when she needs you the most. She doesn't want to be a burden, but she doesn't know how to be light without you, and this contradiction consumes her. She types messages and then deletes them. She constructs imaginary dialogues with you where she tries to explain all of this, but she never finds the right words. How can she explain that her fear of losing you has become a constant presence in her thoughts? That even in happy moments, there's a hint of anguish. Not because you did anything wrong, but because she simply can't imagine life without your laughter, your voice, your touch. She wasn't like this. She was invincible. Now she's at the mercy of something she can't control, and if you only knew the internal struggle she faces every day. She smiles at you even when she's dying inside. She says it's okay when her world is crumbling within, all to avoid frightening you, to not risk losing you because of too much feeling. But the truth is, if she could, she would scream, "Stay, don't leave me, I don't know how to be me without you." She is scared, truly scared, scared of time, of choices, of fate, of changes, of people, of life. Because all of this can pull you away from her. And she no longer knows how to protect herself from it. She can disguise it, she can keep herself busy. She can even pretend everything is fine, but her heart already belongs to you, and that no one can undo. You are her weakness, and you are also her refuge. She doesn't need promises, she just needs to feel that you're there, present, constant, steady, because her love is not a game. It's delivery, it's care, it's despair disguised as patience, it's fear with a smile on her face. It's strength kneeling for the first time. She believed she was strong, and indeed she is, but she discovered that the greatest strength in the world is admitting that she needs someone, and she needs you, more than she would like, more than she can hide, more than any words can express. If you pull away, she will say she understands. She'll smile, wish you well, and move on. But inside something will die, and she will learn to live without a piece of her heart, but she will never be the same. She discovered that love, when it's real, is scarier than any war, because you don't fight against it, you just surrender, and hope the other person chooses to stay. She has chosen, now she just hopes that you choose too, to stay. You may have never realized the magnitude of the silent battle she fights every day. She doesn't beg, she would never beg, because she was taught not to depend, not to humiliate herself, not to give everything at once. But with you, those rules lost their meaning. She doesn't need pretty words or eternal promises. She needs real presence, the kind you feel in a look, in care, in the silence that embraces. Sometimes she wonders if you have any idea how important you are. If you notice that, amidst so much noise in the world, your voice is the only sound that soothes, that your absence creates an uncomfortable echo, a void that no other presence can fill. And when she thinks about everything she has faced, she remembers how good she was at dealing with losses, with goodbyes, with farewells that give no warning. She has always been great at that. But not now, because this time it's different. She doesn't just want to survive your absence, she wants to live with your presence, and living for her now has your name. She doesn't idealize you. She knows your flaws, your shortcomings, your bad moments, but still, she chooses you, every day, even when it's not easy, even when fear takes over, even when everything feels uncertain, because the feeling she carries goes beyond logic. It's visceral. It's the kind of love that transforms, that pushes you out of your comfort zone, that forces you to reconsider certainties and make space for an us, where there used to be only me. And she, who has always been enough for herself, now feels you are essential. This doesn't weaken her. On the contrary, loving you has allowed her to know herself deeply. It has forced her to face parts of herself that were hidden, denied, frozen. Now she feels. She feels with intensity, with fear, with hope. She feels until it hurts, and that is real. She spends her days pretending everything is under control when, in fact, everything inside her is collapsing. Her heart screams, her soul cries out, but her lips stay silent, because pride still weighs heavily, and the fear of seeming too much, of being fragile, of scaring you, makes her hold back. But don't be mistaken. Her silence is deafening. She wants to tell you that she thought of you more than 10 times today, that even exhausted, she imagined you before sleeping, that she wanted to send a message just to say, "Take care of yourself," but she hesitated, that she smiled seeing something that reminded her of you, but held back tears right afterward. She wants to say all of this, but she doesn't, because she still hopes you'll notice, that you'll look beyond the words, that you'll understand the language of her gaze, her gestures, the brief touch filled with meaning. She wants you to see her completely, not just when she looks beautiful, strong, or well put together, but especially when she's scared. Because that fear is pure love disguised as insecurity. She doesn't fear for lack of trust in you. She fears because she truly loves, and those who love truly fear. Because what is too precious, we protect, we take care of. She fights to keep you close. She fights every day, even if you don't see it. Even if it seems far away, she is there, strong yet vulnerable, fierce but broken inside, confident, yet silently praying not to lose you. And with each dawn she renews this pact with herself. I will keep on loving, even with fear, even without guarantees. She doesn't need promises. She needs reciprocity. A gaze that says, I'm here. An embrace that says nothing, but says everything. An action that screams what words cannot convey. She needs you to realize that depending on someone is not weakness, that there is a rare beauty in allowing yourself to be vulnerable with the one you love, and that being someone's soft spot is an honor. You have that power, and maybe you don't yet grasp its magnitude. She chose you with all that is pure and sincere in her, with all her versions, the one who laughs loudly, the one who cries in silence, the one who bears the world alone, and the one who crumbles just thinking about losing you. She doesn't know what the future holds, but she knows that as long as it's up to her, she will keep fighting for you. Even when she is exhausted, even when fear is greater than courage, even when reason tells her to give up. Because her heart has already made the choice, and that choice is you. She doesn't want to fight against that anymore. She just wants you to stay, for you to want to stay, for you to feel the same, or at least to care for her love as something rare. Because it is. She has never loved like this, and she may never love again. You are the center of this whirlwind. And all she asks, even without words, is that you understand. She was strong, but now she just wants to be strong enough to keep loving you, even with fear. And no matter how much she tries to hide it, her greatest fear is waking up one day and realizing she has lost you, not due to a mistake, but for not being able to show in time how much you mean to her. Everything. Now tell me, are you going to let this love slip through your fingers as if it were nothing? Or will you finally understand that some connections don't come back? That when love is like this, raw, strong, true, it deserves to be cared for with your soul? She loves you, she's scared, and she's waiting. For your response, she's still there, even tired, even confused, even trying to hide the intensity she feels. She still believes in this love. And deep down, she just wants to tell you one simple thing. One of those things that don't need grand explanations, but carry everything. She misses you, even when you're nearby. Because the fear of losing you doesn't come from physical distance. It comes from the possibility of you disconnecting emotionally. Of stopping to see in her what captivated you in the beginning. Of waking up one day and feeling nothing at all. And that thought hurts. It hurts because she truly loves you. No games, no tricks, no defenses. She just wants you to notice. To see beyond the masks, the silences, the attempts to seem strong. She wants you to understand that her love is real, and that the fear is too. And if she could ask you for one thing, it would be, don't leave without fighting for this. Because she's fighting every day in silence, not out of neediness, but because this time she saw something in you that she's never seen in anyone else. And even if she never says it outright, you are the greatest weakness she's ever had, and yet the only place where she wants to feel safe. Now that you've heard all this, tell me one thing. Have you ever loved someone so much that you're afraid of losing them every day? Or have you ever been the reason for someone else's fear? Comment down below. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today. This kind of love is rare. When we recognize it, we need to take care of it. And if this text resonated with you in any way, if it reminded you of someone, or even yourself, then give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Here we talk about feelings that few have the courage to face, and I want to see you around here. For real. Because sometimes all someone needs to hear is, I'm staying.